This is a Shields of Shame exclusive.
Today's date is September 29th. Time is 1:25. This is Investigator Sparks. I am speaking with, can you state your name?
Spencer Baker, Jr.
Can you please advise your employee number?
29152.
And what is your role here at the Clay County Sheriff Office?
I'm a sergeant.
All right. So, as I stated, we're here talking regarding your use of force that you had on September 19, 2021. Do you remember that use of force in regards to inmate ties?
I do.
All right. Can you just give me a brief rundown of everything?
Yeah, sure. So it was a non-compliant situation. Inmate ties was basically refusing to return to his cell. Me, Sergeant Henry, Officer Rock, we responded to the situation. I was the one talking to inmate ties the majority of the time. Told him to go inside the cell. He wouldn't go. Gave multiple verbal commands to return to his cell. And then one final verbal command. I utilized the less lethal distraction round, and with that, he got injured.
So, building up to this non-compliant, what was going on?
Building up to non-compliant. So before I responded?
Yeah, so you responded to the non-compliant. So when you responded, what was told to you?
So it was basically two of them. What's his name? Officer Cruz had gave me a call stating that he had two non-compliants. He needed somebody to come down there because he was by himself. So when we responded down there, basically he was out sitting on the table. So the first, the second person that was a non-compliant, I want to say he went to his cell, but I didn't see him. I only seen tires because he was sitting on the table. He met us at the door, so to speak. He was in our face because he was on the table. So.
Okay. So in regards to, officer called you, said, hey, we got non-compliant. This is over the phone or radio?
Telephone.
Telephone. Okay.
Yes.
And that was just the brief of the conversation. Hey, I got non-compliant, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
There was no other conversation in regards to he been tripping all day, he been doing he been doing that.
So, to elaborate on that, so Taz, he's a known inmate to be non-compliant and popping out of his cell, just doing some extracurricular, I guess you would say. So we already knew, the type of inmate that it was. So that's why we went down there, along with myself and two other personnel.
Okay, so when you say he's a known non-compliant, he does extracurriculars. Give me further than that. Give me exactly what it is. What makes him a non-compliant and him being a known non-compliant?
So he was just removed security per Major Martin to general population to give him a chance to, prove himself again that he can stay in general population. But ever since he's been in general population, he's been constantly popping out, cussing out the specialists, being out of his cell, unauthorized. That's how he's, that's pretty much it.
Do you know what he was in security for?
I do not. Well, I can't say. I don't know. No.
Okay. So pretty much the bulk of his situation is just verbally doing things and just doing things in regards to popping out of his cell?
Yeah, just not caring for the rules of the sheriff's office.
Okay, so nothing necessarily violent toward other inmates or staff?
No, not that I've seen, no.
Okay. So where were you coming from when you responded?
I can't even remember. Maybe intake, because I was intake supervisor.
Okay. Coming from intake supervisor. All right. So in regards to this less lethal shotgun, where was that?
With me.
You had it with you the entire shift already, or you went and got it?
Yes, because I had responded to a non-compliant earlier within the day, and I had the less lethal with me, and I can't leave it nowhere, so I knew I had no time to place it back in the room, ready room.
So when you're working, you usually carry it with you all the time?
Majority of the time, yes.
Okay. Have you been trained to use the less lethal shotgun?
Yes.
Do you remember when you were trained?
I can't recall the exact date.
So when you were trained by who?
Lieutenant Butts, or at the time Lieutenant Butts, and then Sergeant Ward. I can't tell you the exact date. No, I can't.
Okay, that's fine. So you did receive official training from somebody in regards to the shotgun.
Correct.
In regards to this training, was there a certificate that you received, or anything of that nature, or was it just an in-house training?
This was one of those just showing you how to use it, safety procedures and whatnot.
So it wasn't technically a official training per se.
Correct.
Okay. Do you know of? Well, I don't know. So it's also educational purposes for me. In regards to that shotgun, is there like a official certification or training that you have to go through in order to use it?
I would say no. Yeah, I would say no.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you usually carry it with you in regards to throughout your shift and things of that nature. You already had it with you because of you responding to a non-compliant earlier.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So when you got down there in your report, you said you started talking to him?
Correct.
So what was that conversation?
So basically, he was just stating to me while he was out sitting on the table, and he told me that his hand, he needed to be ice. He needed to go down with diabetes. He's supposed to go down every day. I had just talked to Ty's about this the previous shift, or the previous day, about the same scenario. I had one of the inmate workers bring some ice the day before for his hand. And so it was basically the same thing about him not being able to go up to sick call, doing diabetic call to retrieve his ice. The officer stated that he called sick call and asked could he go up there, and then they said no, they don't need him up there for no ice. So he was mad at that fact. So I'm conversating to him about the whole ice situation. I told him, look, I go grab you some ice. Actually, I didn't tell him I get him ice this time. I told him that I verify with the officer in the booth and see what's going on. But in the meanwhile, return to the cell. And that's when he started being real verbally combative. So.
Okay, so when he was being verbally combative with you, was he still sitting down?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at this point, how many inmates are outside of their cell?
He was the only one.
He was the only one.
Yeah.
And how many COs were in the housing unit?
So we had Sergeant Henry, and no, it was two. But the other guy was at his door, and that guy was I can't think of his name, but yeah, it was two out. But he was up at the top tier, and Taj was the only one sitting at the table.
Okay. So
and it was
So right here talking to inmate Taj, it was you and who else?
Me, Sergeant Henry, and Officer Rocks. And then they had branched off and went to talk to the other inmate to get him inside his cell.
Okay, so you're talking to him by yourself, and these two go to the top tier to get him to go to his cell.
Yeah, to get the other inmate to go inside his cell.
Okay.
Or escort him into his cell.
All right. So, I'm reading your statement. You say that you gave him one final verbal command. You tell him to return to his cell. He said, send me to the hole. Mm-hmm. And then you left, and you let off one distraction round towards the inmate Ties, correct?
Well, not towards him, but I did let one off this. It was towards a kiosk wall. So I would say that's like so from my position, it was like the right side of him.
So you didn't shoot it towards him?
No, because it's a distraction round is not meant to, it's not a beanbag, so it's not meant to hurt them. It's just meant to, hey, boom, go to your cell. And then if the second one if I would have shot that would have been a beanbag to hit him. Okay.
So, I'm just reading what you wrote within this email. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so the email when I was typing email, that's the use of force packet is more in depth of everything that happened.
Okay, cool. So, question. What made you decide to, what was going through your mind to decide, say, hey, I'm going to let off this distraction round if he doesn't comply?
To let him know that, well, so basically, when the whole time him sitting on the table, he was being just passive aggressive. He just wasn't doing what I was telling him to go decel. Once he got off the table, after I gave the last warning or final verbal command to, return to the cell, that's when I chambered the shotgun. Once I chambered the shotgun, he then got off the table in an aggressive manner. That's when I shot the distraction. Like, boom, return to your cell.
Okay,
And
so
then,
he got off the table in an aggressive manner?
Yes, sir.
Paint that picture for me.
So basically, he's on the table, and I'm telling him to return to his cell. Once I chambered it, that's when he was like, that's into the hole. So he's getting up while saying that. So he's like, so if you can picture, the day room tables, somebody sitting down, we talking or whatever, tell him to go in. He's not going in. I chambered the shotgun. That's when he's like, that's into the hole. So he's getting off the table, coming towards me. So that's how he's been acting aggressive. Like he's coming towards me at that point. So
how far were you when?
So I want to say we was like 8 to 9 feet away from each other. When during the whole conversation. So when he got off the table, he closed that gap. So my assumption of him getting injured is when he came towards me, he got burnt by one of the little fragments or whatever. That's how he got injured.
Okay. So at this point, when this happened, what was going on with the other inmate?
He was already inside the cell at that point, to my knowledge.
He was already inside his cell. So where were
the other officers? So after I shot the shotgun, what were they?
So by the time, I'm trying to paint the picture of me trying to figure out where those two were at this point.
I got you. So they were at the top tier. Once when I shot the distraction round, inmate ties and ran back to his cell and he secured his own door. So it literally, by the time the other officers came down the steps, Ties was back inside the cell.
Ties was back inside the cell. Okay. I'm gonna ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
In this instance, no, I'm not gonna ask you that. Prior to this situation, have you ever used the shotgun before?
Yes.
Do you know how many times?
Probably like 10, 12 times.
10, 12 times?
As far as a distraction round, I never shot anybody with a beanbag or any of that. Only shot the beanbag at, training purposes. But the distraction round is something that, we do if we have like multiple non-compliance or non-compliance where somebody not complying. So, yeah, about 12, 11 times.
What made you decide to use the shotgun versus attempting, well, I wouldn't necessarily say attempting, use the shotgun versus, hey, possibly getting either yourself or the other two COs to handcuff him? Since he wasn't complying.
So while talking to Ties, I know the inmate. I'm very familiar with the inmate.
Okay.
So anytime I've ever talked to him, I'm pretty almost certain that I can get him to go to the cell without using any type of force. And this time he was just on some like I'm not going for it. And at the time, two officers, they was already at the top tier. Basically they left me down there talking to inmate Ties, which I was okay with because I'm always talking to Ties about doing something, go to the cell, stop being on this BS or whatever, constantly doing this. So I was fine with that. So if they was down there, yes, they definitely could have cuffed him, escorted him to a cell or whatever we wanted to do. But due to them not being down there and me talking to Tynes. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, yeah. So me being down there by myself talking to Tynes, there was no time for me to, hey, come down here and cuff him real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because Tynes has never been the type of inmate to really, to my knowledge, let me speak on my knowledge, to me, to be the type of inmate to be physical with an officer to be physical with an officer. So at this time when he came up the table, I'm just letting him know, like, hey, Doom, stop playing, return to your cell. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't one of those times where we just talking forever and you're not going to your cell and I got to do all this extra work. Like, we're not doing that. So the distraction on is basically like, hey, this is a serious matter. Like, I need you to go to your cell. So that's what that was let off.
All right. Did you have a taser?
Yes.
Why didn't you use your taser?
Because I already had the shotgun in my hand. I wasn't going to place the shotgun down and just to pull out my taser. And to elaborate on the less lethal, so the distraction round is not really a use of force, so to speak, because it's not meant to hurt the inmate in no way, shape, or form. It's not meant to make any contact with the inmate. Now, of course, if the inmate gets closer to you or something like that, anything can happen, of course. But my distraction round is not meant to make him go to the ground, actually, it's make him go to the ground. It's like it's a way for me to be more verbal and more, hey, next round is going to be a beanbag. It's like it's the leading up to the beanbag.
Okay.
So I wasn't even, so to speak, trying to use force on him. I didn't really use force on him. He got injured within me utilizing the less lethal distraction round.
Okay. All right. Sergeant Baker, is there anything else you would like to add or clarify in regards to the statements you've made or any other questions I have asked, or you would like to ask me any questions or anything of that nature?
No, sir. I'm good.
Okay. I appreciate you. You may be getting another phone call from Investigator Brock. I don't know, but just be prepared for that phone call if you get one, okay?
Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Okay, today is September the 29th of 2021 at approximately 2:11 p.m. I'm Investigator Mitchell Brock, Internal Affairs Division, conducting an interview with Mr. Tice. And what's your last name, Mr. Tice?
Last name is Tice.
Tice. Okay, so state your name for the record.
Dejon Tice.
Dejon Tice. So it's going to be Dejon Tice with the LE number of 2104648. Is that correct? Okay, so Mr. Tice, the reason why I'm down here on September the 19th of 2021, you had a altercation with a correctional officer at the Clayton County Jail. Is that correct? And to where, if I'm looking correctly, I see an injury right up on the right side of your chest area, somewhat by your armpit. Can you explain to me a little bit about what happened? I'm gonna stand a little close to you if you don't mind, so
I had gotten into a little fight around like the 15th, September 15th, and they put me on the medical route with ice.
Okay.
So I was going to diabetic call for ice.
Okay.
Because my hand was swollen.
So you were fighting with another inmate?
Yeah, another inmate. My hand was swollen, so they had put me down for ice.
Okay.
So I was going to diabetic call for ice. So at 3 a.m. during diabetic call, they had officer in the booth forgot to call my name, so I came out my room and asked him like, can I go for ice? And he was like, it's too late. I like, all right, can you call for a sergeant so the sergeant can take me up there to get the ice and we can come back? He was like, all right. So I set out. Sergeant Baker, Sergeant Henry, and Officer ROQUES came down there around like 5 o'clock. They came super late. So Sergeant Baker came in with the shotgun and he was like, why you got your room? I'm like, I need my ice, for my hand. You know what's going on with my hand. He was like, nah, you're not getting an eye right now. You get it later on. I'm like, but the nurse just told the officer in the booth I can come down as long as the officer bring me in. I don't see no reason why no officer can't take me to get my ice from my hand. Like, he was like, go to your room. I'm like, bro, I need my ice from my hand. He pointed the shotgun at me. I was sitting down on the table the whole time. So he was like, he pointed the shotgun at me and was like, go to your room. I like, you can't shoot me with that, bro. I'm not aggressive. And he shot the shotgun at me.
Okay. At some point, while he's telling you to go to your room, was there any reason why you just didn't go to your room?
Because I needed ice for my hand.
Okay.
My hand was swollen.
Okay.
They told the officer in the booth to bring me up there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Did you say any cuss words? Are you sure?
I told him, I'm not aggressive. You can't shoot me with that.
Okay. And what housing unit was this?
Housing 7.
Housing unit 7. What cell?
Section 2.
Section 2. Housing unit 7, section 2. Okay. So where were the other 2 officers at?
The other 2, they walked up the stairs. The whole reason why they came down there, it wasn't even for me, it was for another inmate.
Okay.
So.
And how do we know that?
Cause that was Sergeant Harry told me.
Okay. Okay. And who was the officer that was in the
booth?
The booth, the tower.
Officer Cruz.
Officer Cruz.
It's the male.
It's a male. Okay. So did you ever go to medical at that time, or on that same day?
Right after that.
Okay. So they took you down to medical.
Yeah, he put me in my room right after he shot. And he put me in my room. That's when I noticed, like, he shot me. You know what I'm saying? I felt the blood. So then I tried to tell him. He like, nah, ain't nobody shoot you. You stabbed yourself. And then my family was calling up here, and they were telling my family nothing happened to me, that I stabbed myself, that they didn't shoot me, I'm pranking them. I'm like, are you serious?
Okay. So, who was the officer that said that you stabbed yourself?
Officer Baker, Sergeant Baker.
What about the other officers? What were they saying?
I don't know what they were saying.
Okay. And is that the only injury you suffered?
Yes.
What I'm gonna do, is there any questions that I have not asked you in regards to this incident, or is there any further information that you could provide in reference to this incident at hand? Okay. Would you agree that the officer advised you several times to go back to your cell?
But that was
No, I understand where you're going, but would you agree that he told you several times to go to your cell, right?
Yes.
But
there was no reason for this.
But there was no reason for him to deploy a shotgun at you because
I was non-provocative, I was non-aggressive.
You was non-aggressive, you just wasn't listening to go back to your cell. But do you feel that that you should have been having medical treatment?
Yes, I
for
feel
your
like
hand?
I should have been having medical treatment for my hand.
Okay. And in the event,
and then the other night, he the one who took me to go get ice the other night. So he knew I was supposed to have ice.
okay. So in the near future, the best thing that I would advise is just to, hey, when it's time to go in your cell and lock down, just say, hey, I need some medical treatment. You know, can you help me? You know, just like, for example, Correctional Rollins is here.
But Officer Cruz was telling him, like, yes, they did tell him to come down.
So Officer Cruz was also and I'm gonna speak to Officer Cruz too. I'm not sure if he's working today, but in the future, when the officer just telling you something, just go ahead, just to, you know, hey, sir, I'm gonna go back to my cell, but I really need some medical attention.
Yeah, they was telling Officer Cruz, like, okay, I can't bring the ice down to the house unit. Like, that's against policy for me to bring ice to the house unit. So I would have to sit up there, and the officer would have to bring me up there to get ice. That's what they were telling me.
Okay. Did you suffer any more injuries? Okay.
It was some little stuff on my neck, but I ain't on it no more.
Yeah, it's probably gone now, but I see this with the, and who was he telling that you stabbed yourself? Who was he telling you that, or?
Yeah, he told me that, and he told my brother that on the phone.
He told the brother that?
Yes.
Okay. He talked to your brother that night, or?
I don't know when they talked to my brother, but I know my brother said that they said I tried to stab myself. And my sister came up here multiple times, and they told her that nothing happened to me, that I was lying to my family about this happening to me.
Do you have their telephone number, or do you know it by heart?
Yes.
Can you say that for me?
My sister, my brother.
All right. But if you don't have anything else to add to the interview, right now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna terminate the interview on September the 29th of 2021, and it's approximately 2:20 p.m. Okay. So right now I'm gonna terminate the interview.